Here we are, folks. The most insanely efficacious, sensorial, luxurious cleansing balm in the world has landed. I don't need to tell you what it takes to put my name to a cleansing balm, and this one had one mother of a brief. The Skin Rocks Cleansing Balm is the best balm ever created, and one I would choose every single time over anything I've ever used. 5 rollercoaster years of fearless ambition, sky-high expectation, tears, triumphs, and F-bombs. No pressure then, but what a result. Undoubtedly my most anticipated product, this was by far the hardest to make. The texture and crunch that took 4 years to perfect, its ability to decimate literally everything on your face, the R in a jar scent, the paperweight-heavy hot pink glass. I mean, literally everything I adore in a cleanser has been distilled into one glorious jar, and it is absolutely spectacular. Transforming from a solid balm to a rich replenishing oil, this barrier-nourishing balm is formulated with the same innovative lipid advanced complex as the support oil to deliver supreme skin barrier support and help improve skin firmness, elasticity and hydration. There is simply nothing like it. It's £55, it's ready and waiting, and there is no dupe. Welcome back to Glad We Had This Chat with me, Caroline Hirons. It's your one-stop shop for all things skincare, beauty and beyond. My guest this week is an expert in all things nutrition and an advocate for healthy eating without falling into the traps of the diet culture. What began as sharing videos of delicious recipes from her kitchen has grown to her being named Britain's most well-known nutritionist. Now a Sunday Times best-selling author, she is here to talk all things nutrition and skin health. It's Emily English, aka Em the Nutritionist.
Glad we had this chat with Emily English, take 1.
Isn't it so official?
I love
Clapperboard.
it. It's very let's go.
Yeah, that we didn't steal from Warner Brothers.
Okay, so
just to be completely clear. Emily English, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Well, you've got the Fresh Off Honeymoon Glow.
Do I?
Yeah, Fresh Off Honeymoon Glow and bestseller Sunday Times Glow.
I mean, I'm surprised it stuck around for the kind
Not
of month
much
of
going
chaos.
on. Not much going on.
Just a lot.
It's happened quickly, right?
So quickly.
Like people are like, when people say, oh, I don't know, I didn't know you had a book. And I'm like, well, I wrote the book years ago. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and I started blogging in 2010. But your success has been, as in, I'm talking online, profile, like a year and a half?
Year and a half. And it just went exponential. There was just one moment that I probably, just when I broke the 10,000 follower mark, it started to creep up and up and up and up. And then once I hit 100K, it just flew. Because I feel like with food, it's one of those things that people really organically share.
Yeah.
So people will go on my profile, they'll make something, and they'll naturally share it on their stories. And I think it's just that they see it, another person sees it, they share it with that person, they share it with their friend, they cook it, and the rest is history.
Where was the moment where you thought, oh, this might be a career? As in, you're already doing it, but a different journey.
One summer I did this recipe which was my ultimate Greek salad with garlic bread kind of croutons, or like a garlic bread side thing. And I think that was the first video that got around 50,000 views. I think I probably had 2,000 followers at the time. And
this is on Instagram?
This is on Instagram. Instagram has always been like my main platform, which is surprising because everyone used to say, I'm not growing on Instagram. Instagram is the place that we don't really see growth.
But your videos are perfect for Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
just
what they're
work
gagging
well.
for.
Yeah, it's like the sweet spot. So it was once I did that, then it carried on gaining traction, and I've just kept on pumping the recipes out. And
where do they come from? I'm obsessed with cookbooks. Mm-hmm. My brother's here, and he'll tell you I have them. I had to move them off the old dresser in the kitchen because it was breaking under the weight. And we had bookcases built. So I love cookbooks. I've got them from the 60s and the 70s, my mum's old ones. But I very rarely cook from them. I go, that's a nice idea. And then I'll just get that rotisserie chicken from M&S.
Long live M&S.
So are they just in your head? Do you just have such an understanding of food that you know what's going to go with what?
If people ask me, what is your natural gift that you were born with? It's writing recipes in my brain. So I can taste what a recipe is going to be like in my head before I've ever even made it.
Since how old?
Do you know what? No one's ever asked me that question before. There we go.
Every time we get into those, I'm like...
But I think it's with everything. Like I'm a sponge when it comes to knowledge, and I've always loved learning. Like I've been fascinated
Were you a SWAT at school?
Not necessarily a SWAT, but like obsessed with science and the body and
Yeah.
how things worked. And if I had a question in my mind that I didn't know an answer for, I would go and find that answer. And I
Yeah.
feel like with food in the world of nutrition and cooking, I feel like I'm a hybrid between both a chef and a nutritionist. I wouldn't say that I like one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to like my recipe inspiration, it now comes from a place of like a pain point or a problem solving, or what do I want to eat and I don't have enough time, and what can I prep and actually eat on a train that's not going to offend someone that isn't like an egg pot.
Not a lot.
No.
I know, egg pots, you think, I'll do an egg pot, that's a good protein.
And
And
then
then you open it and go,
Oh, yeah, heavy.
so good. I mean, you sold a few copies.
Just a few, yeah.
How was this? Because you've previously done sort of PDFs and there's a lot of content online. How was it putting it all on a page like this?
Do you know what's so easy? Like
You're getting on my nerves now, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Like I have the most amazing publishing team who were wonderful. Like the photography in it is beautiful. My food style is incredible. But I think because I already had such an incredible bank of content, and I'm very lucky that I can basically recipe test all my recipes through my followers.
Yeah.
So I see which recipes hit with people. I see which recipes resonate. And then
Yeah.
that's where I know, this is a really
That's
good
the money
thing to
shot.
stick into the book. And
Yeah.
I think that's why I've grown so quickly and people love my food, because it's relatable, it's accessible. You said you had so many cookbooks that you don't use.
Yeah.
I always said I want this to be a cookbook that sits on people's shelves and is covered in food. Like, when you open a page, it's like... Because everyone cooks from it every day. And people do.
The one I have got that is dog-eared is Nigella's How to Eat.
And that has always been the most inspirational
And it's
book.
autographed. I know.
I'm dying to meet her. She is... I always say Nigella is like
Do a
my core
podcast, she'll be your
inspo.
first guest, done. No, she's a legend
Yeah.
when it comes to food.
Yeah.
Microwave, I mean, come on. That woman knows what she's
Social
doing.
genius.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Love it.
She knows that the minute she starts talking to the camera, she's seducing my husband.
Have you made the chocolate cake from that book?
No.
That was my job as a young girl when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and we had a birthday, and my mum was like, go and get Nigella's book and make the chocolate cake. So iconic. But I feel like with food, it has such an emotional connection to it.
for
And it's such a moment in time and in life. And I think of food and I will go straight back to the moment of me eating that. And that's one thing I always feel like nutrition lost. It lost that level of emotional identity, because I feel like people, when they dieted or wanted to eat healthy, they threw everything that they knew or wanted to do around food in the bin.
Yeah.
And
It was all lettuce.
it was all lettuce and it was all restriction and diet culture. And I wanted to break the mold with that. I wanted to create the food you want to eat, designed by a nutritionist, that makes people happy. They're excited to eat. They look forward to eating, but also their body loves, and it makes them feel good too.
I mean, every time you open a page in that, you're like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
There's nothing like, oh, that looks healthy.
It looks so good.
It looks good.
Yeah.
But I like that. So good. Is that the name? I should have picked that up.
So that actually came through all of my videos. I always used to sign off with so good, because it was that expression. No, but it's like when I think of like my business strategy and making sure that I stick around for as long as possible, I think it's really important to have those identifiable catchphrases, and so good ended up just becoming mine organically and naturally.
Where did being a nutritionist come from?
So a bit of a boff at school when it came to the sciences, biology and chemistry, obsessed. Never thought...
Biology, yes. Chemistry, no.
No, I loved it. Especially organic chemistry, because that explains so much of biology.
I have
but
no
also
idea what you're talking
unexplained
about.
at the same time. It made it just as confusing.
What's the difference between organic chemistry and chemistry?
Organic chemistry is... that's a very good question. Organic chemistry is the side of things that I like a little bit more, that explains the kind of molecular and chemical structure and how different things react with each other in more of a real life natural setting. So it would explain a little bit about like how the body will respond or how the body will work. It's very it's hard to kind of
whereas
say
chemistry
in layman's
is
terms.
chemistry.
Yeah. But organic chemistry was my favorite because it kind of linked a bit more into the biology side of things. So if you asked me at school, would you want to become a nutritionist? I would laugh and be like, well, it's not a proper job, and what do I do? Just tell people to lose weight. Everything around nutrition was always linked in
Lose weight.
lose 15 pounds in 5 days, like holiday detox diet, get bikini ready, all this stuff. Like nutrition wasn't about nourishment.
No. You can blame boomers and Gen X for that.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but it is my generation, my mum's generation.
Slim fast.
When I did the pod with Grace Dent,
Yeah.
she said, you know, I said about food, and she said, well, I'm a Gen Xer. I've basically been on a diet for 35 years.
Yeah.
And that's the language. The language is, you know, don't eat that, it's full of calories.
Yeah.
That's the language I was raised with, all with good intentions. But of course now, I never ever spoke to Ava like that.
Yeah.
She's never heard me mention my weight, nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I've never said to her, don't eat that, babe, you know, ever. And so I think we take responsibility for that. It's the boomers passed it to Gen X, and hopefully the Gen Xers are breaking the cycle with their kids.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, going off on a tangent there, we're now seeing that come to play when it comes to the perimenopause, menopause health of women and hormonal health of women as a consequence of that. But
I have never been as unhealthy as I was when I was perimenopausal.
Yeah.
I weigh less now, I'm fitter now, I'm healthier now than I was 10 years ago, and I'm 55.
Because you're educated now.
And bless him, even then my husband never mentioned my weight. He never went, you're right there, love. My mother did, of course. You know, do you need those Pringles? I was like, I'm going to use the tin around your head if you say that again. But I didn't know what I was doing. I was just eating white food. Now I can see I wasn't depressed in that way that the word gets overused, but I was definitely just flatlined. And obviously now I know that was also being fed, no pun intended, by what I was eating, how I wasn't working out. My hormones were crashing all over the place. So the fact that you're around... Because there used to be, for me, nutritionists on Instagram have always been, being frank, American, Californian, wealthy, white blonde girls.
Privileged,
you know?
Yeah.
But you, although you can tick some of those boxes, you are qualified, you don't speak wank. I'm sorry, let's just put it out there.
No, thank you. I pride myself on that.
You know, and you are relatable. The food is doable. It's not extortionately expensive. You don't say, go to Erewhon. They've got a new shake and it's $30. And you're like, shut up. No one can do that.
Yeah.
You know? So thank you for at least being...
the non-wanky nutritionist.
The non-wanky, Emin, the non-wanky nutritionist.
There you go, that's going to go
But
on
yes,
the second
back
book.
to, sorry, but it was just important to sort of take the responsibility because I'm very aware that Gen X... My generation are obsessed with food. It's always in our ears.
Yeah.
Always. But we were raised that way.
And I think I was exposed to that when I was at school. But basically what happened is I ended up getting scouted to model. So at the age of 17, I went into the fashion industry. And I was not thick-skinned. I was not cut out for it. I could not take criticism. And the day that my modeling industry turned around to me and said, basically, we need you to lose weight. Your thighs are shooting too big. That was like a switch went off in my head. And I remember going home, refusing to eat with my family around the dinner table, opening up like my computer and Googling how to lose weight off your thighs quickly.
And you're 17.
17. And do you know what? Do you know what's really horrible? I still have my Nike app. I had the day that I went on my first Nike app run, tracking it. And that's the day that I came home from the agency. And I remember movement became punishment and about shrinking myself. I used to weigh every single spinach leaf on my Fitness Pal.
God.
Because I was a problem solver. So I instantly, my body became a maths equation. So my body was like, okay, how to lose weight? I'm going to eat as little as possible, fear all calories, and I'm going to move as much as possible, burn as much. So I ended up depleting myself. I lost everything, and I loved food. Like, I loved food. Our family life revolved around food. My granny was a chef. My first job was in her kitchen.
Right.
Even when I was even when I was at school, McDonald's sweet chili chicken wrap every lunchtime when we were in sixth form because we were allowed to leave the school to go and grab our lunch, and it was like the highlight of my day. And I just ate with freedom. And I look back now, and I get so angry because I was just a young, healthy girl, and it's like, of course, I can say I should have had thicker skin, but there's also a level of responsibility that I think we need to have. Not telling young girls.
You shouldn't need thicker skin when you're 17. You're being told to lose weight.
On your thighs. And I was tiny. Like, I was tiny. But basically, I ended up... I had this like breakdown moment one day when my mum had made me a cheese roll, brown cheese roll with a slice of tomato, and everyone's plate was laid out, and I picked them up, taken them into the garden, and she made me one. So and that was her first challenge to me in the depths of my eating disorder, being like, eat the roll.
Yeah.
And I remember staring at this cheese roll on the kitchen side, and my mum came into the kitchen. She was like, Emily, please, can you just come and eat the roll, come and sit with us?
Must be heartbreaking for your parents.
I broke. I couldn't physically eat that cheese roll, and it was that deciding moment where I was just looking at everyone else outside, and I'm one of 5, so there's a lot of us, and I was like, why can't I eat the cheese roll? So I ended up stopping my modelling. I pulled myself out of it. I saw the most amazing therapist, Jane, who saved my life, and I ended up kind of it came to the point where I'd skipped 2 years of uni, or I didn't go. So I went back to UCAS and I applied, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to go study nutrition because I want answers to why everything that I thought I knew about health and nutrition is making me sick.
Yeah.
And I went to King's. I got a fantastic degree with some of the best nutrition experts in the country, and came out of it, worked a few rogue jobs, I think, as we all do when we first leave university, and then found my path to here.
Wow. I mean, how did your mum react when you gave up modelling? Just to go back for a second. Because as you know, because you said, hi, Carol, love to meet you. I'm obsessed with Ava. Great.
Yeah.
But if she was modelling and came home and said, I can't eat that, I need to lose weight, I would lose my shit.
Yeah.
I would make her leave. I would have made her leave. As much as you say you have control over a teenage girl, obviously, it must have been hard.
So I'm one of 5, and my mum had my younger brothers and sisters when I was 8 years old. So she had 3 kids under the age of 3 when I was 8.
Wow.
And I automatically became very hyper dependent. And I remember I used to be the one who supported and I helped, and I didn't really, and I still struggle to kind of openly talk about my emotions or lean on people for help because I'm fine by myself. And I wouldn't say that I necessarily had as close a mum-daughter relationship as probably that you have. And my mum is the most incredible mum. She was born to be a mum. She's the kindest, most beautiful person ever. I think she felt so lost because I'd always been, Em's fine. She's fine. And then the moment I came sick, she was like, well, what do you mean you can't sit around the dinner table? And she's got a lot on with the whole rest of the family. So weirdly, it was one of those things that she drove me to every single therapy session. She sat outside and waited every single time. She took me to every single doctor's appointment. She was there in the way that she tried to figure it out to be there. And now she looks after like my younger sister. Obviously, there's a 10-year age gap between us. She's much more equipped to deal with those more psychological issues.
Yeah, we help our parents as the older children. We help our parents deal with the younger children.
Yeah.
There are a few things in life that just keep on giving for $3.99 a month. A floppy fuel station sarnie, one small cup of bougie overpriced coffee? I don't think so. Or, for the same price, you could be getting a month's worth of skincare insights and know-how from yours truly. A wealth of fresh, expertly written articles on all things skincare and beauty. From our free-to-download version for essential educational content to our elevated premium experience, the Skin Rocks app will revolutionise how you shop and learn about skincare. Whether you're a novice building your first routine, an aficionado wanting deep scientific expertise, or someone looking for the inside scoop on beauty newness, it's all in one pocket-friendly place on the Skin Rocks app. With simple-to-use functions that let you filter for your personal profile, save your favourite content, and explore a vast product library with ease, it's no wonder it's called the Google of skincare. Unlock a world of incredible premium content for just $3.99 a month, $34.99 a year, or get a special discount via the podcast with code CHPOD to get £10 off your annual subscription.
And so you graduate,
I graduate.
and it's a whole different world.
So one thing that shocked me about my nutrition degree is so many nutritionists do not know how to cook. I'm a cook at heart. I love food.
The first thing you said to me, I was quite scared. You went, do you cook? And I thought, is this what it's like when I say to people, do you wash your face? You literally went, oh, do you cook? And I was like, oh God, what do I say? I have a lot of cookbooks.
Do you know what? That's such a funny comparison because if you asked me about what do you do for your skin? I'm like, is she going to judge what
We're going to have that conversation, so brace yourself.
Right, I'm going to flip it back on you as well. I'll be like, what's your favourite thing to cook?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that people always think that as a nutritionist, I'm there to judge. And I'm so sick and tired of the health and wellness industry in the space being so judgmental and hyper opinionated. We are slapped around the face with every single, don't do this, this is toxic, this is bad for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just a bit like, can everyone just calm down? It's your life. You get to choose how you live it. There is not a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to nutrition and food. And it's unique. Explore it. There's not a set structure that if you just do that, you're going to be healthy and happy forever because, your gut microbiome is more than unique than your fingerprint. And your gut microbiome determines so much of how you respond in your health. So how on earth do you take a blanket approach to every single person?
It is quite, annoying is probably a good word. How do you go from graduating to being 1.6 mil on Instagram and, #1 bestseller for weeks on end? And
so that was an interesting one. So when I first graduated, I actually worked a little bit in the hospitality industry. So I worked in restaurants.
we should all do that. I think it should be mandatory.
100%.
Mandatory.
And there is nothing that gives me the ick more when I go out with someone who doesn't understand how the hospitality industry works.
And they're rude to waiting staff.
I'm like, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Or they don't tip.
It's ick, pure ick.
Big ick.
So luckily, I don't really have many friends who are rude in that sense. But yeah, I did a little stint in the hospitality industry, and then I got my first proper job with a DNA testing company. So a nutrition DNA testing company who we used to think that DNA was going to be wow as soon as we profile everyone and we work out their unique SNPs is what we'd call them. We'd understand why we have the issues that we have in the world. Turns out it's not due to DNA, and I ended up kind of being a little bit unhappy in that job. And I thought, I can do this myself. I can set up my own business. And I backed myself. I believed in what I had to do. And I remember I went to Squarespace. I set up a website. I ran Google Ads to find clients. And I made sure that I was the cheapest nutritionist in the area. And I started doing video calls. And it was just the time that COVID happened.
Wow.
So I just left my job.
Perfect
timing. Because everyone was then at home wanting to think about their health and thinking, wow, I live such a terrible lifestyle. I have time to cook and the space to cook. So I started getting my first little client base in my clinic. And I used to specialize in kind of because I obviously was so small, I could do it, hyper-personalized meal plans for everyone, whether it came to gut health, weight loss, kind of menopause, family style cooking. And I used to write the recipes for my clients based on what they wanted to achieve with their goals, but also based on their love and my love of food. And I would get the feedback from the clients being like, my God, that lasagna, I can't believe it had 7 different veg in it. It was the best lasagna we've ever made. And it's high in protein, high in fiber, perfectly balanced. I knew what they needed from a science point of view, but I also knew what they needed from a satiety point of view when it came to what they wanted to eat. And I didn't really have social media at the time. It wasn't something ever since the modeling industry, I pretty much stayed off social media. I knew it wasn't a good place for me. And so I launched my clinic page, started posting recipes, and then Reels became a thing. Mm-hmm. And I posted my first video recipes. And they were, if you scroll back to my day one recipes, you would laugh because I used to hang my phone on the edge of the kitchen cabinet. So
we've all been there, love.
Used to be open.
We've all been there.
Yeah, you're hodgepodge studio, with everything. And they've just grown and people love it. They love my food and I love feeding people. So it's the best of both worlds.
Okay, so we're obviously going to become best mates and you're going to cook for me. I love this. Before we get on to skincare, let's do some food things. So there is so much, I know that you hate the nutritional clickbait online, all that kind of thing. And there are a few people in that arena that make me want to throw my phone out the window. Mm-hmm. So this is just, is there any truth behind this or is it bullshit, right? Eating 12 to 16 eggs a day is good for you.
Oh my God. I mean, eggs are very nutritionally dense. Do you need to eat 12 eggs a day? No.
So I'm not going to give you a bit of a smelly, farty bottom, maybe.
Smelly, farty bottom. I mean, people do have that slightly expressed concern over ingesting too much cholesterol. I'm going to say bullshit.
Lovely. Oat milk is bad for you.
Bullshit. But in context. And what I always say is nothing is intrinsically bad for you in the context of the 365 days and all the decisions you make in those days. It's we know that living in a city with pollution isn't fantastic for us, but what we're doing to counteract that. Yeah. And if you're drinking 6 lattes and drinking 2 litres of Oatly every single day, then probably
I made myself allergic to oat milk.
Did you? Because you drank it so much.
So obviously the dieting in the head. Before I got my shit together last year, I had tried various things and I switched from dairy to soy, from soy to oat, right? Because I only drink tea, I drink decaf tea, and oat. The one that isn't the barista version, just oat and salt and water.
The Plenish one.
just the one that's plain organic. I always went organic, and I thought it was doing really well.
Yeah.
So I started having oat milk in my tea, and it's actually I think it's the most mundane if you want anything that tastes similar to dairy. You know, it's not particularly, it doesn't float to the top and all the, I can't. And I didn't even think anything of it. And then I developed this cough, and not to bore everyone to death, but it went on forever. And I'd be on Insta and people would be messaging me going, Caroline, I'm a GP. Have you had your cough checked out? And it just became a thing. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm allergic to something, but we don't know what it is. And then this is verbatim what happened. I went to Ibiza to see Duran Duran with my best mate, Heather. They don't do good tea in Spain.
Yeah.
So I just didn't have any. I had the old hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
So I drank water and hot chocolate and alcohol at the time. We got back. We were there for 3 days. We got back. I made us a brew and I started coughing and I didn't even notice. And she went, Bird, why have you started coughing? And I went, oh my God, it's the oat milk. And I stopped and the cough went immediately. And then I Googled it and it's one of the 14 biggest allergens with the WHO. I had no idea.
We can develop like intolerances and allergies, and that is something that can like just hit at a random point in life. I think the one thing that I want any listener to remember is this whole kind of milk alternatives, seed oil things. It is what is everyone's talking about in the industry. I don't think that they are as this like inflammatory demon. Like, I don't think that the issues that most people are describing are down to the splash of oat milk that they have in their tea.
No, exactly.
Unless they're like you and you have an allergy and you're coughing.
And I drink a lot of tea.
Yeah.
Avoid dairy if you want clear skin.
Myth.
We could both answer this.
Yeah.
Total myth. Total myth.
Long live dairy.
It will suit some people who might have a lactase problem.
Mm-hmm.
My brother was allergic to milk. I keep pointing to him as if you can all see him, but he's just in the room today. But he had a really bad milk allergy when he was a baby, ended up in hospital. And my nephew had a lactose problem.
Yeah.
My youngest had a lactose problem. That doesn't mean that they're going to get acne.
No.
They're very different things. So obviously, if you want to avoid dairy and you think it helps, knock yourself out. But avoiding dairy is not going to miraculously clean up your skin.
Yeah, especially like high quality dairy. I think dairy quality matters.
Yeah. Perimenopause symptoms. Now, this is the one that made me think you are an absolute effing asshole. Not you, my darling. Perimenopause symptoms can be reversed by changing your diet and lifestyle. This is Eddie. This was last week or the week before, and he said, women are being sold a lie, we're being given HRT, all you've got to do is change your diet and lifestyle. And when you go, talk about, first of all, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
You're not a menopause expert. Shut up.
That makes me furious.
I was raging.
Yeah.
But then I went to the comments, and what's good is, don't fuck with menopausal women. The comments section was, I was like, oh, the girls have taken care of this, I'm off, I don't even have to get involved. But I did repost it and put total arse wipe, something along those lines.
Bullshit.
Absolute bullshit. Telling women that it's their fault that they're going through menopause, I can't even.
No.
And that just negates any reason I would ever consider anything you say to be truthful. Him, obviously.
Yeah.
Lovely. You should only buy organic produce.
What a privileged statement to make.
So if people could afford to get a couple of bits organically, what should they be?
So anything that you typically eat with the skin on, or you eat a lot of. And the only reason why I say that, so milk, obviously, it will vary the nutritional composition slightly, but I'm also talking about your veggies. So one thing that I'm really passionate about is the antioxidants.
Emily.
Why?
It's my big ick word. I can't take it.
Really? Okay, sorry.
I can't do it.
Vegetables.
Thank you so much.
Organic
it's a
vegetables.
real problem for me. I'm sorry.
I'm
But I should give you some lax, and people are going to be like, why are you interrupting this woman to say don't say veggies?
I probably shorten it because I say vegetables all the time.
I'm sure it's a really boring word, but you know what?
Yeah.
It's worse for me than moist.
I'm sorry.
Thanks.
Okay.
Apology accepted.
Vegetables. Organic vegetables. And the only reason being is they can actually have higher antioxidant content, because basically when a plant is stressed, they produce these like incredible health promoting compounds, and an organic plant gets more stressed than a plant that's been kind of well sheltered and covered in pesticides and herbicides.
Isn't it a shame that it's not like that for the humans? If you're more stressed, you get healthier. I'd be Usain Bolt.
Oh God, well yeah. I'd probably be like the Hulk or Superman.
So veg, and maybe root veg, like under the ground veg type.
Yeah, exactly. And then sometimes I think there's something so nice about getting one of those little veg delivery boxes.
No, you said veg.
Veg,
fine.
not veggie.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, oh, said the word. And it's like covered in mud and all gorgeous. But
So that would be my idea of hell.
It's no, but it's
That's the difference. That's my idea of hell, because I would go, what am I going to do with this?
Convenience, yeah.
No, it's not so much convenience. It's what am I going to do with this? I don't really like a lot of veg, and it's not helped by my husband, who thinks that vegetables are the devil.
Well,
God bless him. I love him.
You've got my book.
He'll eat broccoli and tomato.
I'll convert him.
Thank you so much.
I promise.
I mean, if cabbage is on the plate, he will leave the room because it gives him PTSD from school, which is fair. He'll be like, you can call it kale all you want, it's still fucking cabbage. Okay, sugar is the enemy and we should avoid it entirely.
Oh, bullshit.
Now, I did see a clip of you saying if you have a kid, you would never let them eat. And then the clickbait disappeared and I lost the clip. So what would you never let them eat?
So I don't feel like it's a good thing to ingest full sugar drinks as quickly as we drink them.
Fat Coke.
It's, full fat Coke. Just like, when people sit there and they will literally glug through, some people will glug through a 1 to 2 litres of full fat Coke.
Oh, God, no. I mean, I like the odd tin of Fat Coke, but not like on the daily.
It's one of those things that I'm just like, that's just a no-go for me. Like, give me a little Coca-Cola on holiday or a little Diet Coke, Sun Lounger, packet of salted crisps, heaven. There is nothing about that I'm like, that is what is going to make me ill or make me sick or make me a bad nutritionist. So I think it's just kind of like taking it like
full sugar,
taking it relaxed.
Liquid sugar,
especially when ingested on an empty stomach, and if you're a quick drinker.
Right, if you're a guzzler.
Yeah.
Good to know, you heard it here. If you want to maintain a healthy diet, you should cut out alcohol entirely.
Bullshit. I'm just not a cutter. I feel like people's relationships with alcohol is something that's really important to address because, so my auntie is actually a master of wine. So her job and her life is committed to wine.
Sommelier.
And she's so smart. She's incredibly the way she talks about it is the way that I talk about food, with passion, with care, with love. Can you taste this? Oh, this goes so well with the food. She doesn't open up, or like me and my husband, we don't open up a bottle of wine to get drunk. We have a glass of red wine with our Sunday roast, and it's a wonderful thing. And I don't look at that alcohol and think, oh, that's a terrible thing for me. And sometimes you look at the blue zones and the countries that live longest in the world, and they
love a bit of red wine.
They drink in moderation. It's binge drinking culture. It's clubbing culture. It's drinking to get drunk, rather than actually treating
drinking because you're going on a bender.
Yeah, exactly. Like that is so bad for your health. That is bad for everything. And there's nothing that's good about alcohol, nutrition wise.
No.
Like I will not sit there and say, oh, have a glass of wine. It's good for you. No. Polyphenols, whatever. Like get your polyphenols in the beetroot. Yeah, eat the grape. Don't drink the grape, but.
I've had to can alcohol for a while now since I've been menopausal, because menopausal women with the lack of estrogen, even if you're on HRT, the liver just doesn't have the capacity to break down the alcohol. And it makes me, I can have 2 drinks and look like I'm absolutely hammered. My cheeks go bright red. I want to go to bed. And then I'm wide awake at 2 a.m. and then I feel hungover for days. It's just not worth it.
But you know your body. And I always say, like, people need to regain confidence in their bodies.
Yeah. And their mind and what they know.
Yeah. You know exactly what works for you. And I can sit here as this qualified nutritionist all day long and being like, these are the things that you should eat. These are the things that I think you should keep in balance and moderation. No one knows what suits you better than you. Yeah. So I think as long as you're like following the fundamentals or like the patterns of things that we know are generally good for us and supporting our health, you can tweak and change whatever fits you best.
I mean, I would definitely be up for a really good red with some meat on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a liver specialist once and they said that Pinot Noir is the cleanest grape, and they use the word clean properly. Cleanest grape, and the Californian Pinot Noir is the best one in the world.
They are stunning. Have you ever had one?
I always go for California. If I'm like, well, it says it should be Pinot Noir. That's a sign I shouldn't drink.
Oh no, they're like Californian Cab Savs. They're heavy. That's going to make you flush and stay awake all night. But the Pinots, it's just a lot softer.
I need it to look like Ribena. Okay. A weakened, diluted Ribena. Yeah. I'm an absolute booze wimp. There's nothing. I'm not. When I see people and they're just necking it, I think, my God, I would be in a coma. I can't do it. Okay, a carnivore diet is the healthiest for us.
Bollocks.
No, speaking our language, you see.
Yeah.
Where do you sit with meat versus, so for example, with protein?
Yeah.
So I use Divinia Taylor's Will Powder's protein.
Love that brand. I discovered that. I take the indulgence cats. I take her electrolytes and also the energy ones.
She's onto a winner. I mean, some of the stuff she comes out with, I text her and I go, babe, wind your neck in.
Yeah, calm down, Lil.
Yeah, she is coming on. She's coming on.
She's a little bit woo-woo in that sense.
She goes woo-woo,
yeah.
But I cannot fault that brand.
And do you know what? Someone who is incredibly like judgmental in that space.
Yeah.
I purchase those with my own money.
Oh, so do
because
I. So do I. Not an ad.
No.
I've got a regular subscription.
Yeah.
Well, the chocolate, I did Huel for ages.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I'm bloated when I have this Huel.
Yeah.
She messaged me and she went, I'm coming for them. It's pea powder. It does nothing nutritionally.
Yeah.
I'm going to take over. And I was like, yes, mate, do it. And then I tried hers and I was like, oh my God, she's so right. They are a world apart.
Do you know what's crazy? Is like people villainized whey protein powders for so long. So like, oh no, you have to do the plant-based ones. The plant-based ones often don't taste as good.
It's like a puff. It's like a Pringle.
Yeah, they can really trigger people's like digestive issues.
Yeah.
And whey is so bioavailable. If you're thinking about getting more protein, especially as we get older as women,
source, right?
It's so good for you. It stimulates your muscle. We lose about 3 to 8% of our muscle every decade once we hit 30 as a woman.
Oh yeah, I know. Trust me, my ass is gone.
Yeah, but it's a battle. No, but it's so important. Not your ass, but muscle mass.
My ass is also important.
It's also
but
important.
I mean, I'm happy with it. It did what it needed to do.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Okay, intermittent fasting is good for you and enhances brain function. You don't have to be black or white, by the way. You can do nuance. We can do grey.
I'm going to say bollocks, but could potentially be turned if I see enough sufficient evidence and quality evidence come out. I know a lot of people, the beauty with intermittent fasting, it's free.
Yeah.
It's accessible.
Yeah. Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it. Mm-hmm. And anecdotally, a lot of people said it's changed my life. Yeah. So good on you.
Yeah.
If it helps, what it can help people do is regulate their eating habits and patterns more, which stops them mindlessly snacking and eating too much, just like empty sugars and ultra processed foods in the day. Yeah. It just creates more awareness of your eating and in turn can improve your brain fog and energy.
I think it would have been fantastic for me perimenopausal, but menopausal and postmenopausal, you cannot do it.
No.
The brain fog, I don't know any menopausal woman who can healthily, intermittently fast that I know.
Yeah.
We're all just like, I have to eat breakfast.
It's not something I'd recommend anyway. Like,
lovely.
Truly.
Eating late at night causes weight gain.
Bollocks, but eating late at night is not good for you.
Because?
So when you eat too late at night, inappropriate digestion, so it can cause more stress on your digestive system, and it will impair your sleep quality. So if you look at your actual kind of sleep patterns, sleep quality is also really important for hunger. Yeah. And not a lot of people realise that if you have a bad night's sleep, your hunger hormone ghrelin is naturally higher the next day. So you wake up, you crave more food, you're constantly hungry. You know, you have those days that you're just like, I just want sugar.
This is Daniel all over, isn't it?
Is it?
And my son he has chronic clinical insomnia. He's 30.
Yeah.
And we've tried everything.
Yeah. Sleep is so important, especially for someone who's trying to like improve your nutrition.
So if someone turns up on your doorstep, before we move on to beauty and skin briefly, if someone turns up on your doorstep and in the days where you were seeing clients and they say things like, I'm not sleeping well, I'm generally feeling not myself, their diet isn't great, where do you start? Where do you start with a nutrition plan in terms of, okay, so this is the core basics? Is it that way, or do you work backwards from what their goal is, or do you try and help them where they are now?
Such a difficult question, because I think everyone used to be quite unique. But what I always used to do, let's just take someone who struggles to make changes, struggles to bring in new habits. I'd always say build on what you already do. So if you're a sandwicher for lunch, let's try and boost up your sandwich. What can we add? What can we swap? Can we use this bread instead? Can we stick it in a pita? Are you getting 30 grams of protein in your sandwich? Can you add the smelly egg pot when you go to Pret just to kind of give you an extra boost? And it's also the fundamentals of sleep. Are you moving? Moving does not mean that you have to start training for half marathons. No. It can literally be walk. Wake up every morning. First thing I do is I go on my morning walk. Like non-negotiable.
How long for?
About 45 minutes. So I do...
With pace or just walk with headphones?
With pace.
Yeah.
And it's also the time...
Like you need a wee.
Like I need, yeah. I love that. That is so good. I'm stealing that.
You can have it. You
need to walk with pace like you need a wee and you're amazing. So iconic. And I do all my work then as well. So I will do all my emails, I write my recipes, I'll plan my day, and it's my time. And I'm lucky that I have like a block down the riverfront. I'm not going to walk into anyone or get my phone stolen. So don't.
You're just like.
Yeah. And do it briskly. You can do half an hour. Half an hour is fine, but I tend to get around 5,000 to 6,000 steps in before 7:30's even hit.
Fucking
hell. But do you know what? Doing that then if I go to
Everyone
work,
is looking at you like, Jesus.
no, but,
Even your people.
but it's one of those things.
He's like, yeah, it's not me. He's just a client.
But it's one of those things. Walking is free.
Yeah.
It will change your life.
Yeah.
It will improve your mood. It will
Yeah.
improve your mental focus. I always say it's nature's caffeine, that
Right.
morning walk. It's absolutely brilliant for you. And if you can just integrate that into your day, add a few extra nutritional things. I always say get the sprinkles in.
Good
Get the
shout.
pomegranate seeds. Get the extra fresh herbs, the sprinkle of nuts and whatever. Like that kind of stuff just on top of what you already do will make a huge difference.
This is going to be a bit of a life-changing episode, I can tell.
Strap yourselves in, people. I'm going on tour for the first time ever, and I'm so here for it, bringing our wild and wonderful Glad We Had This Chat podcast to a venue near you. Promising you an unforgettable night of unbridled honesty, unfiltered opinions, F-bombs and fearlessness. Come join me and a stellar lineup of special guests as we talk all things skincare and beauty, along with frank discussions about life's adventures, challenges, highlights and joys, with exclusive on-stage skincare demos, entertaining Q&As and a healthy dose of unscripted hilarity. This is Caroline Hirons, me, live and apparently on steroids. It's happening. Get your tickets now at carolinehirons.com and secure your spot.
What should we eat to get good skin?
So I always
It's a
say,
loaded question.
No, it's a very loaded question, but we have to remember the skin is multi-layered. And it's also really, really hungry. Like we shed around 30 to 40,000 skin cells every minute, I think it is. So let's do foundation layer first, collagen. And I always say it's like a race to preserve collagen when it comes to nutrition. So the older we get, when we hit around mid-20s, 1.5% of our collagen we lose every year. And types of foods that we can use to help support collagen production. So vitamin C, anything that's really high in vitamin C. Weirdly, a red pepper is the highest vitamin C containing food.
I love a red pepper.
Yeah. So if you want to like snack on something to look after your skin,
I could do that.
red pepper crudités. Yeah, you can chop those off.
Hummus? Can I have it with something? I don't want to eat it on its own. That's a bit sad.
Red pepper and hummus, skin loving, collagen supporting, like accessible. You can get it from your Tesco Express.
Slightly healthier than a McDonald's breakfast.
Just slightly. But can you add pepper to your McDonald's breakfast? No, I
I'd
don't
just
think
drop it and just
no.
do the pepper.
And then the other thing is let's kind of like talk about the bricks and mortar layer. So the skin cells that kind of like stuck together, that really relies on kind of like our healthy fats, ceramides in foods. We know that when we can eat foods that contain our essential fatty acids, so like our omegas, salmon, oily fish, but also flaxseed, flaxseed oil. There's been clinical trials that showing supplementation of flaxseed oil can actually boost skin hydration and retention. It can really help just kind of like support the overall skin barrier and reduce inflammation. It's also worth noting that all of the lovely kind of antioxidants and colour in our food. So if we're speaking about skin foods, colour is everything, particularly our carotenoids. So anything that is red,
Berries.
orange, love my anthocyanins in purple foods. Sounds all a little bit fancy and a little bit woo-woo, but all of these colour compounds are incredibly anti-inflammatory, and they will go and sit within the skin and help, again, protect the collagen and prevent its breakdown from any sort of environmental stressors, stress, and just kind of like create a lovely, healthy anti-inflammatory environment. And then the last thing is simply just hydration. When you're hydrated, the way that your skin cells and the structure, even of like the pore, is tighter and enables like easier flow of the oils in and out. So dehydrated skin, making sure you're hydrating from within. And you can get a lot of like water from your foods.
Yeah.
So making sure that you're not necessarily just gulping down 1 litre of water because you're not hydrating appropriately if you just glug big bouts of water in one sitting. Hydrating throughout the day is like such a big tip for me, and maybe boosting with electrolytes if you want to.
Yeah.
And having those water containing, I'm not going to say veggies.
Vegetables.
Veg. Water containing veg.
You'll be on Instagram now, and if I see you doing a reel and you say veggies, and you'll go, oh, vegetables. I'll be like, oh, that was me. You're welcome.
But yeah, so to round that up, vitamin C containing foods, and making sure you're getting enough protein in as well. Like we do know that collagen supplementation can actually be clinically proven for skin health benefits now. Like we have the evidence there. And then also all of our lovely colour antioxidants, particularly the carotenoids and particularly the purple coloured foods as well. Just want to add an extra note. The purple coloured foods cause your blood vessels in your skin to vasodilate. So it actually stretches the vessels to improve nutrient delivery to the skin.
Nice.
So beetroot, blackberries.
And supplementation, briefly. Obviously, it's a multi-billion pound business. Is there anything that you think people should take to basically to enhance? So you're not, it's not, if life-changing, they've got real problems, but things to enhance good health.
So collagen, I am a big fan of.
I am now. I wasn't originally because there weren't any studies.
No.
The early studies on collagen, it all went to your stomach and then you got rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I love it, and I don't know if you know Dr. Thrivy.
Yes.
Yeah. Gorgeous woman, and she now recommends it in her clinic, and she's like, people's nails grow quicker.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the hair, the nails,
the hair, everything.
Crazy.
So collagen for me. I also take I do have a probiotic brand, and I think it's really important to understand that any sort of supplement industry is incredibly unregulated. So the quality and efficacy of supplements varies wildly. So one thing you need to be looking out for is delivery mechanism. So we have basically a duo cap, where we have an inner phase and an outer phase. And then the inner core has like nearly optimum survivability of the live bacteria inside it, and then gut supporting nutrients on the outside.
So essentially, it's in a taxi, and it doesn't get out the taxi in the middle of your stomach acid. It gets out the taxi when it can be absorbed.
Exactly. So looking at supplementation technology, taking a really good gut health supporting supplement, especially for someone who is busy, on the go, stressed, not sleeping properly. Gut health is the foundation of everything. If you're also someone who suffers from bloating and digestive discomfort, L-glutamine is king. I have harped on about it since day one. I remember even I had nutritionists who ripped me saying, why are you promoting this product? And it's like, all the evidence is like out there now, and it's like solid. L-glutamine, we love it. Gut barrier supporting function. Your gut barrier is very similar to your skin gut barrier. And I always love that comparison. The same way that we need to make sure that our skin barrier is nice and strong and resilient to help protect it against pollution, environmental aggressors, we need to do the same for our gut barrier.
Yeah.
And think about everything that we do that wears our gut barrier down. Not eating properly, not having enough diversity, not enough fibre, not enough antioxidants, all that like sugar that then kind of our bad bacteria love, stressed on the go, that is all going to be depleting that gut barrier function, which, because there's 70% of your immune system that lives around there, then triggers back to the skin. And it's why we see this whole kind of connection between, especially autoimmune skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis, linked back to gut health, because that is the foundation and the foundation communication system for the rest of your body. So gut health supplements. And then finally, my golden crown, there's a supplement called, I can never pronounce it properly, it's the worst one for me, astaxanthin.
Astaxanthin.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Round of applause. That is, if people want to start looking into a supplement or getting into supplements and thinking, okay, what master antioxidant do I want to take? That for me is it.
Isn't that derived from shellfish? Isn't that the one that's like the baby plankton?
It's a carotenoid.
Okay.
So
I'll just double check, because there's certain ones I can't take because I've got a shellfish allergy.
Oh, do you?
Which is really annoying.
And for me as well, liposomal. So going back to that nutrient delivery form, liposomal is king when it comes to bioavailability, so the amount you absorb for what you're investing in.
Like the liposomal vitamin C sachets and all that sort of stuff, yeah.
And especially if it's fat soluble, get your liposomals in. Like, look out for those liposomal
I feel like this has just been a big... You haven't presented it as a big bollocking, but I feel like it's the bollocking I deserve.
Do you not take any supplements?
No, I do. Well, no. I do. And I take, like we said before, with Davinia's protein and collagen, not an ad. I take creatine now.
Great.
I have HRT, that's why I'm not in jail.
I should mention the creatine as well. That's
go
really
on.
good.
Yeah. Well, it's brand new for me.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say it's like it's a supplement I think all females should be taking.
Good. But everything you're saying, I know. And it feels like I've just got to the point where I worked like a maniac for about 18 months. So our mum died in March and I threw myself into my health. I mean, it was clearly what I was doing to divert from grief.
Yeah.
You know, some people go and work hard. I was in the gym all week, working out. I lost loads of weight, started to build muscle. I was really into it. And then I realised about 6 weeks ago, I'm knackered. I am knackered. So where I'm working out, I'm not replenishing here. I'm letting it go on this side. So I'm doing a takeout and a fat Coke because I'm so exhausted and I know it's not good for me. Whereas I used to have maybe a fat Coke once every 2 weeks when I was being like super on it. And now I'm like, every other day I might go, shall I have a fat Coke? And it's not that regular. And I certainly don't drink and guzzle. And I might not even finish the can. It's just those initial few sips.
Yeah.
I gave up caffeine. I gave up alcohol. So I gave up a lot, but I didn't replenish enough. And that's what I've realised. So I've had to change I haven't worked out in like 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
And my body has just gone, thank you. You're knackered. Mm-hmm. And then I've got sick, had a cold, but everything you're saying, I'm like, God, that's me. That's me. I didn't do that. That's me. So this is good because afterwards I'll be like, where's the list? Everything else I need to order and get back to it. But in a more sustainable fashion. What I was doing was not sustainable.
If it's not sustainable, do not bother.
Yeah.
You are wasting your time. You're wasting your money. It's like saying if I eat one salad every month, that's going to make me healthy. And it's also the same as saying if I have one full fat Coke once a month, it's going to make me unhealthy. It's not true.
No.
What can you stick to and do for 365 days?
Yeah.
Year after year with your life, and that is what is going to determine your overall health.
Yeah. There you go. That's me told. Right. Can we go on to skincare and beauty briefly?
Let's do it.
What are your earliest memories of skincare?
So I've always been a beauty junkie, like loved it. I was a girl who used to take my makeup bag into school. I would also take my GHDs and like top my hair up. But early memories, I remember my first skincare set. I remember it so distinctively. It was the pink Biotherma. Was it Biotherma?
Bioderma.
Or Bioderma, yeah. And
The micellar water.
no.
Oh, Biotherm is a brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the pink Biotherma cleanse tone moisturiser set. And my mum said, Emily, this is what skincare is. And if I smelt it now, I would honestly
And
go
you're how
back
old?
there. I must have been 7.
You can still get it in France.
Can you?
Yeah, in any pharmacy. Biotherm is a brilliant French pharmacy brand.
Really?
So there's Bioderma, which is the
micellar water.
Yeah, micellar
yeah,
water.
yeah.
And then Biotherm it was in Selfridges for a while, but it didn't really land.
Kick off.
But it's a French pharmacy brand. Why would you put it in Selfridges?
That's
anyway?
my earliest skincare memory. Yeah.
And you're how old? Sorry?
I was 7.
7?
Got it for Christmas. And it was like a I think I was 7. Must be around there, like pre-10.
Mind you, if she's busy having kids, she just wants to keep you busy.
And it was very neutral. And I remember, and it had, I think
it's very safe
cleanser
and
was like
easy.
a cotton bud. And it was just like, and I remember doing it being like,
that was a good
I'm now a
choice,
woman.
Emily's mum. That was a good choice. Biggest beauty or skincare disaster?
I had a fringe. I
nice.
dyed it orange because
Oh, wow.
I wanted it to be the same colour as Hayley from Paramore.
Oh, okay, fair.
and
Good
then-
musical taste.
Yeah.
You're a rock chick.
I went to Kerrang tour.
You did not.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about music too. Oh, God. Okay.
I loved it. Like I used to have like I went through the emo stage. I had blue hair at one point as well.
Nice.
I loved it. So would I say it was no.
No.
I actually wouldn't. I think the biggest disaster was the over exfoliation stage where we all just decided to destroy our skin barriers.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Anything in sort of, what's your current skincare routine? What do you do just day to day?
So simple is best for me. I definitely realised that with my skin. So
As in products, not the range.
so
No, I mean like
what do
not
you
the
mean?
simple range.
No, as in products. Yeah. Which I actually do. I use the simple micellar water.
Yeah, the micellar water is fantastic.
Yeah, the Hydro Boost one.
Yeah.
I really like that. So I always cleanse with LMS cleansing balm, the Pro Collagen one. Just because, I don't know, it signals like calming down. This is evening. And then I'll do another cleanse with just like a gel-based cleanser, often quite neutral. And then my skin's quite sensitive, so I don't tend to put my actives. I use like azelaic acid, niacinamide, and a TREP active from Skin and Me. But depending on how my skin is feeling, I'll wait. Then I'll use By Terry. I love By Terry. They have like a hyaluronic Global 8. I use that serum. And then I also use their moisturiser too. It's really, really good. Because I'm a bit of a skincare whore, I tend to mix up my serums from time to time, depending on what I do. Exfoliation-wise, I really like the Dermalogica Rice exfoliant if I want something that feels a tiny little bit more scrubby. Or I'll use the Ren Glow
Ready, Steady, Glow.
Yeah, but again, that's like probably once a week, not too much. And yeah.
Is
then
there
on my
anything that
shows,
you use
I'll put that
obsessively that if your bathroom cabinet was on fire, you'd be like gutted if you lost it?
That's such good.
What about makeup instead? Any makeup product that you would be like, oh, I can't lose that?
Do you know what I've tried recently that I'm just obsessed with is the Perricone MD Foundation Serum.
Oh, really?
Love
It's been around
that.
forever.
It's been around for ages. And I remember always looking at it and I was like, oh, it was too expensive for me back in like student days. I was just like, no way. And I remember I got it and now I wear it like every day. Love it. I also really like Dior's skincare range. Have you tried the new sticks yet? The new foundation sticks?
No.
They're glorious. They're absolutely glorious. But yeah, I think burning down the house skincare thing has to be the By Terry Global 8 hyaluronic acid
Serum.
range.
Oh, the whole range.
Yeah.
Let's just take the whole range. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Favourite beauty treatment? What do you get done? Anything?
I got high food before my wedding with Alice, and I wouldn't trust anyone with it because if they do it wrong, they'll melt the fat off your
Alice
face. Alice at Harley Street Injectables.
Oh, okay.
The best thing I've ever done. Like, I felt so... And it reminds me, actually, I really like to sit in here and like... But it was snatched. I loved it.
Snap. Staples in your makeup routine?
Skin is everything. So making sure that my skin looks natural but healthy and hydrated. So that Perricone MD serum. I love the Ate.
Ate Jewel.
Yeah. Her blushes
Yeah.
are phenomenal.
Yeah, she's immense.
I will stand by those blushes, and I've got PR from like so many different companies with like all these different blushes.
Yeah.
Those are the blushes I go to again and again,
Yeah.
and they look so primary in
Watermelon
the palette.
plum, and I can't remember the other colour.
Phenomenal. And what else would be like my fine?
What mascara?
I have eyelash extensions. I know. And they're I'm very low maintenance. It's the one high maintenance thing I do. Like I swear by them. I mix.
Oh, obviously, we all mix.
Aqua de Palma Rose with Penhaligon's Halfetti, and it goes this like kind of like oody rosy. Everyone always compliments me on it. Nice. But you haven't. Do I smell nice?
Well, we didn't get in enough, and I've got a bunged up nose anyway, so that's mine. And what do you do to sort of relax? When are you? Because obviously we seem a bit similar in terms of winding down and relaxing isn't really on our go-to list. What do you do to sort of go? Okay, I need to put the phone down. Stop thinking about recipes in my head like a freak. Mm-hmm. Hang out with my husband. What am I going to do? What makes you go, okay, I'm going to chill now?
Clean flat.
Obviously. Yeah.
Feng shui. Candles on. And I know it sounds really weird and you're probably going to be like, fuck off, Emily. Cook.
You
But
cook
for
to
me.
relax.
Yeah. But like purely
I wish
for
I
me.
cooked to relax.
And there's something so rewarding about like sitting there and then you end up getting something like you sit down with a big bowl. I want a big bowl of something.
What's your comfort food?
Or noodles or pasta, I think for me. I would say a roast dinner, but that's not comforting to make. Like a roast dinner cooked
it's
for
stressful.
me. Or a pie. Long live, love a pie.
Love a pie.
And it's the season, going into pie season. I did my first one. There's a great pie in that book.
Which one?
Chicken pie.
Oh, immense. We are basically at the end. Do you have any kind of burning question for me?
Are makeup wipes as bad for your skin as they are reported to be?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why
That's not
so?
bullshit. Well, number one, obviously, put it this way. If I had makeup wipes and I was in hospital overnight or on a flight, I would probably just keep my makeup on.
Really?
Yeah. Until I could wash it.
Shit.
So they will. Do you use wipes?
No, so basically I forgot to pack my little mini micellar water. So I was like, I'll just pick up the micellar wipes from my previous trip to Italy. I thought my skin looked quite good.
Well, see, that's different because ironically, a micellar wipe is slightly different in my mind.
Okay.
People might say they're not, but in my mind, that's where I would gravitate towards because I would want to take my eyes off. I'd do one quick wipe, but if I don't have water, I'm probably just going to sleep in my makeup.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not great for your skin. It basically, yes, it will remove some, but it won't remove all, and a lot of it is moving it around the face. So if you ever use wipes and then you go over your face with like an acid toner, the cotton pad will still have makeup on it.
Okay.
So yeah, so no more.
I feel like
Fanny's Flights and Festivals is the motto.
Okay.
Fanny's Flights and Festivals. After that, no. Emergencies, yeah.
I was in
But
quite an
daily,
emergency.
no.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Emily, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to do listeners' questions. It's going to be fun. You can hear much more from our chat this Wednesday in our listeners' questions episode, so make sure you tune in. Send your questions for me and my guest to answer to pod@carolinehirons.com. Until then, I'm glad we had this chat.
New episodes are available every Monday and Wednesday. Follow us, subscribe now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Glad We Had This Chat is produced by Wall to Wall Media.